As painful as it is to show everyone, none of the deer in the intro to this podcast were ever recovered, despite our best efforts.
Right.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Deer Shop Podcast, presented by Siman Brothers Outdoors and the Leaky John Boat Company.
Yeah. He went and watched a movie that has a $200 million production budget, and then the next thing he watched was our video on YouTube that has a $0 production budget.
This is the first buck I've shot in over 10 years.
Your track job was the first fun track job.
That kind of like, I think part of my life was influenced by that night.
Then you miss him 3 times with a rifle at 70 yards on video for the whole world to see.
That's what Caleb did. 5 years ago, we couldn't shoot a deer at 100 yards with a slug gun. Now you're shooting turkeys at 100 yards with a shotgun.
Joey takes
The shop is closing up.
Make sure he takes all his right antlers. You can't leave anything.
All right, guys. Deer Shop Podcast, episode 115, Shots We Wish We Had Back.
We are rolling.
We are rolling. We've been getting a lot of praise lately, especially because of the video me and Isaac put together a couple weeks ago online. So we wanted to come in and do a podcast about the times that we have sucked balls badly.
There's many.
There's many. We got to bring ourselves back down to earth here.
You have old ones, new ones.
Yeah, there's a lot. We're going to tell a lot of fun stories today. I'm looking forward to this podcast. These are the stories that I like to tell because the good ones, I don't know, sometimes it just feels weird when you're talking about all the good things you did, and it feels better to talk about the bad things you've done.
Because we've got many, many, many years of sucking.
Oh, man, so much suck. Me and Isaac are in a secondary studio again down in my basement. It is dad duty. Once again, we're recording on Friday afternoon. This podcast will be out Monday. If you're listening to this podcast on Monday, go check your trail cameras and refresh your scrapes because Sunday is supposed to be a frog drowner, nasty, gross, and the bucks will be moving and killable on Monday.
Hopefully they're hitting those scrapes. Hopefully we pick the right scrapes, the right areas to have cameras on.
Yeah, you did some of that this week. A couple different days. Isaac has actually been in the woods messing around with trail cameras.
Trying to find all Caleb's hidden trail cameras.
Which is new for us since I'm out of commission for the most part. Isaac is leading the way on the farm and checking trail cameras and moving cell cams around and finding scrapes. It's kind of weird.
Lots of technical difficulties already.
Yeah.
See, I left that one camera on in the bag.
Yeah, I did.
I just called Kendall. I'm like, go find that camera and turn it off.
Where's the battery box that was on that camera?
Well, I wondered about that because I put it on the rope scrape, but it's not showing up.
Okay, I'll look around. We'll find out.
Like I plugged it in and everything.
I was going to have you do it on the Seafield plot because that one's the one that takes the most videos.
That camera can't take a battery pack.
Yeah, it can. They all
can.
Yeah.
The minis can?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I didn't look hard enough.
You probably didn't look hard enough.
I'm not used to deer cameras.
Yeah, that's usually my game, but I'm, like I said, passing the torch this year. We had a busy night last night, randomly.
Yeah.
Random busy night. It was Thursday. I actually went and did some EMS training. You got held over at work long. I learned how to surgically crike and put in airways on people with a scalpel.
Yeah, firefighter life. I got held
didn't-
over.
I guess I didn't learn it, but I got rechecked off on it via our protocols, which is cool.
So now we can cut necks like the movies.
Yeah, cut necks like the movies. But while we were doing that, Freeman killed his first doe of the year with his bow, first deer with his new bow.
We'll have to see if we'll have a video on that. We might be able to show a little bit of it, but he shot the deer. He's got trail camera video like the minute of last legal
Yeah,
light.
he was yard hunting.
So if anybody,
Freeman's famous with the yard hunting.
so if anybody films their hunts, especially with not so fancy cameras,
Yeah.
he's just using a like a camcorder.
He's got a G50,
Yeah.
40, 30, 20,
Same one,
60.
same one we all have.
Yeah, but we have like a couple different Gs, right? 50s. No.
We have all G50s.
They're up to like G80, right?
Yeah. But anyways,
Anyways,
sunset. So legal shooting light is 30 minutes after sunset in Ohio.
yeah,
And it's pretty dark by the end of that. But
yeah.
filming light is about sunset. So you
Yeah.
lose about half hour if you want to actually have any good film.
Especially with a camcorder.
Yeah. The more expensive the cameras get and the better your lens and stuff, you extend that. You still can't film till the last minute. Like, it's not happening.
I mean, unless you have like a Sony with a
Yeah.
$10,000 lens, you can do pretty good. But it gets blurry and the crisp isn't there, and you know.
So you might see some of that video. You might not. We'll see.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that point eventually. But yeah, Freeman got a doe. They took it to the shop after we got done with class. Him and Ethan were hanging it up.
Yeah, we were just watching football and blah,
then
blah,
all of
blah.
a sudden, white GMC pulls into the driveway with Ryan Cassick,
Two fellas.
Mr. Automatic, and he has a 258 pound, 128 inch rutting.
Did you guys
8-point?
You guys measure it?
128.
128?
128 and change. 8-point in the back of his truck. Stinks to high heaven. It was one of his first hunts of the year. He went out, entirely new property for him, and he killed a buck.
The body is huge.
It's insane.
It's got to be one of the top deer body-wise in the shop.
The only other one I can think of comparable would be your 7-point from a couple years back. He was 30, so he's 258 pounds, which means he was
what's
38
today's date?
pounds heavier than Massey.
What's the 17th today?
Today is the 17th.
So he shot the deer on the 16th. Same day I shot the 7-point.
Which, and
Peak body size?
yeah, I think it checks out because they've been rubbing. This buck stunk to high heaven. His tarsals, you can smell them a mile away. I smell him driving up the road. I had the windows down. I could smell this buck driving up the road. Obviously, that's a slight exaggeration, but stinks to high heaven. Ryan will tell the story in a podcast sometime in the next couple of weeks. We have a lot. We're just incredibly busy, but he will tell the story. But the buck was rutting, pushing does around, not breeding, but rut behavior was happening, pushing does around and clearing the fields, and just stunk to high heaven, neck all swelled up. You're at, like you said, peak body weight right now, because give it a week or two, they're going to start.
They're not running down. They've been feeding all summer. They're all rutted up. They're rubbing, scraping. So it's got to be about peak body size.
His deer was 72 pounds heavier than mine. Think about that. The buck I killed on opening day, his buck was 72 pounds heavier. That's an entire yearling doe heavier.
The other doe hanging in the shop
Yeah.
weighed about 80 pounds.
Yeah. Insane. Like I said, comparable to your 7-pointer that we always talk about from a few years ago. Massey's on the wall back here, my heaviest deer. Massey was 220 on the dot with the guts.
So this deer had 30 pounds on Massey.
30, yeah, this deer had 38 pounds on Massey.
Massey was fat, but he was short and stocky.
Yeah. Yep. Because he was I think Massey was probably a 4-year-old or maybe like a stud 3. And Cassick's buck was probably like a 5-year-old.
Just a big 8.
He had weird.
Doesn't even have a lot of mass.
No.
Per se.
And then here's the thing. I've seen this a couple times. My buck in Kentucky had this. He had the same situation going on as my buck in Kentucky. And I don't know if maybe it was because of the drought, food sources, or what. Huge bases on the antlers,
they go right
and then
down.
they shrink down. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't have any bucks in the basement that are like that.
A lot of times it's kind of like a smaller, younger buck will do that. They'll have a little bit bigger pedicle, then it'll shrink right down.
Yeah,
he
and
wasn't
but
young,
they say
obviously.
pedicle size is like a big indicator of age. And both my Kentucky buck and Cassick's buck last night have huge pedicles, but then the antler just quickly shrinks down. It's kind of hard to
West Virginia buck a little bit like that.
Yeah, and
Pedicles are bigger, then it shrinks right.
and that's an acorn eater, so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but Ryan will tell that whole story here soon. But
So
Mr.
Mr.
Automatic,
Automatic.
8 years. It's 8 years straight. He's killed a
8?
buck with his bow.
8 straight years, buck with his bow. This might have been the smallest one.
Yeah, I think it was. The The buck that's number 2 on his streak, which he didn't bring to our shop, I think he killed it in like January or February 7 years ago. I think that one may have been a little bit smaller, but he always does a good job putting down just an awesome
And he's
buck.
such a secretive person. He just pulled in, giant buck in the back. We're like, what the hell?
Yep. He has a bunch of video on his phone before he shot, so that's cool. We'll be able to
Throw some of that in the podcast.
We'll be able to throw some of that in the podcast. I already talked to him about it. Another shout out locally, Logan Lettner, right down the road from where we're sitting right now, killed himself a triple beam 12-pointer. His dad, Jamie's a buddy of ours. Logan's a senior, I think, Buckeye High School. He's a famous high school athlete, and he's having himself a hell of a fall.
May go places in the football, wrestling world.
Football, wrestling world. He's probably going places, and he killed himself a nice triple beam 12-pointer.
Which we have pictures of that deer?
I don't, but Jamie does. His dad has, but we don't have it.
So the pictures I saw were from him.
Yeah,
Seen pictures of the deer.
Yeah, they hunt in between like us and like this like Nick's property and stuff. So like he's kind of in a no man's land where we don't hunt is where they hunt, and it's weird. They have an entirely different crop of bucks every once in a while. There's a crossover between like between him and Nick or me and him, but not very often. So, very cool for him. Let's get to some comments here. Let's do the listener stuff. I got something that you're going to really enjoy here in a minute, Isaac. You haven't seen yet, but Jeremy from the podcast comments. He's the one who hates on Luke all the time. It sounds like he's fully on board. He's been saying some nice things. So
that's the guy.
That's the mechanical broadhead hater.
He's the guy that said never have Luke on. An idiot.
Yep. But he's been saying a lot of nice things. So we appreciate that, Jeremy.
Thanks, brother.
Speaking of mechanical broadheads, this is the perfect time to talk about it. I'm not going to say the name because we will also have him on the podcast too. Another one of our buddies going through some hunting changes in his life. Really, really having some hate on the fixed blade heads this week. He had a situation where he put what he says is a perfect shot on a deer. It was a doe. Perfect shot on a doe. Pass through. Bloody arrow. Showed us all the pictures. Super pumped about it. He was using fixed blade heads for a specific reason, which we'll talk about when he gets on the podcast. And he couldn't find her. Blood trail got real weak, went into some cattails. He called a drone. They flew it around, possibly found where she was bedded. Not quite sure. Very disappointed in that. Went back, couldn't find blood in said bed. Doe wasn't there.
Did his due diligence.
Spent
$400 on a drone to find a doe, and
because he's really trying hard to accomplish something in a certain way. And I'm not going to give too much away, but you can piece the thing puzzle together if you want. But we'll get him on to talk about it. But yeah, and he's just like basically he's at the point where fuck these fixed blade broadheads. It's just they're small blood trails, small holes. Even if it's a good shot, like and he thinks that deer's dead. Even if it's a great shot, they're not leaving a blood trail, and it's, especially if you're in high stem count stuff like grass or cattails, it's just impossible to find these things. Brought in a fucking drone, couldn't find it. So,
and we're going to keep, this is going to be a hot topic going forward with us.
Yeah, this podcast is going to be known as the Broadhead Competition Podcast eventually.
Because we will have actually one of the situations I'm going to talk about later.
Yeah,
may have been a different story if I was using a different broadhead, so we'll see.
I mean, Kasich last night on his buck used a 2-blade rage, and the deer went 30 yards and died on the path that he uses to get to his stand, so he could just back the pickup truck up to it. I mean, the evidence is there continuously. Mechanical broadheads, big cutting areas, big blood trails, deer die super fast. But
I have a question about that while we're talking about those broadheads. So obviously famous hunting YouTuber show. Huge fixed blade proponent, hunting public.
Tiny little broadhead. Which ones are they using? Don't they have? They got to have like a brand of some kind that they hawk, right? Not Iron Will, but
yeah, I don't know, single bevel something. If you watch their show, they talk about it. Something that the Ranch Fairy gives them. But so they have not had, at least to my knowledge, shown any issues where they haven't been able to recover deer after putting a decent shot with a fixed blade. Do you think they have some that they're hiding, or do you think they show everything that happens?
I mean, I don't know. I've watched the last couple hunts that I've watched with them.
I just watched
the Jake's last one. The deer died
pretty cool.
The deer died super awesomely, but the previous ones before that with the intern and with Jake, and I think we talked about just a little bit on the podcast of how the one deer lived for like 5 hours walking around this field, a hole in its side, what looks like a great location.
So they do
die.
Show that, but is there ever a time where you think they're not being 100% honest?
I would like to say it's funny you write that. It's funny because like I have this stuff written down for us to talk about when it comes to ourselves here in a little bit. It's hard to say what they don't show.
And it's hard. It's also hard because I think whatever broadhead they use, they're obviously big proponents of that system, but I think maybe they're sponsored by the broadhead as well.
Of course.
Some point or other.
Yeah.
So it kind of handicaps you on talking about it.
Well,
you can't be sponsored by a broadhead.
Our other podcast friends who I was on that podcast last week, if you want to go watch it, I won't even say the name, but our podcast friends we talk about a lot, they were sponsored by a broadhead for a long time and always have had good things to say about it. But I mean, I've shared camp where their broadheads have not killed.
Yeah, they started having some issues where it wasn't successful for them, and they've since dropped that sponsorship.
Yep. And they magically no longer have said sponsorship.
But you are button hooked in the time frame. You can't just talk bad about your sponsorship. I mean, you could, but there's contracts and I don't know. You want to continue a relationship, but if it's not working out for you, what are you supposed to do?
And it's hard to be married to something and have some bad things happen and not be allowed to say what it is. And that's the benefit of our situation, not being married to anybody. We can talk trash about whatever we want. It's weird. So THP, they show a lot of episodes where they maybe miss a deer. They show a lot of episodes where they get close to killing a deer and like on the next episode, tune in to see what happens. Yeah. And obviously their kills very, very few times do they show not recovering.
They have in the past, but I don't remember any recently. Maybe they're just good.
Yeah.
I mean, we know they're good. I mean, maybe they just haven't had that situation.
They're obviously very good.
But you bow hunt long enough and that situation's going to find you because you could put a perfect shot and the deer just zigs instead of zags and you hit him in the ass.
Well, and that's the thing. So we, on our videos, we're always dealing with some kind of slop is what we like to call it. It's not, that might be a bad word to use for it, but we deal with a little bit of slop. There's always these situations where when we go to shoot a deer, something happens. It's like less than ideal, but we still show as much of it as we can anyways. The only thing that we wouldn't ever show is something that would get us completely demonetized or struck by YouTube. So like crazy copious amounts of blood.
Something gruesome.
Like we can't show that because YouTube will hammer us and tell us to go fuck ourselves, and I'm not willing to go that route after all the work we put in. So that's the only thing we don't show, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll 100% talk about it. And a lot of times we do show it and we get demonetized.
Yeah.
It does cost us money, actual money it costs us.
All the time. Two of our best deer camp videos have been demonetized because we showed too much blood.
Yeah, one of them sucks because
it rips.
Well, the one rips gets lots of views, and the other one they completely shut down, and YouTube
was the highest
struck it down
24-hour view video we ever had. It was ripping.
They completely hid it from anybody to watch it. So the only way you can watch it is if you go into our playlist and find it. And it's a gun hunting video from like a couple years ago.
And the weird part is it wasn't even bad. It literally we showed a dead buck laying on the ground with blood on its belly it had like an upper spine mid belly shot that put it down, and it had super red bubbly lung like artery blood.
We think this one was political because it was
AR-15
issue in the country. It was a big topic. We were hauling AR-15s around shooting deer with them. Perfectly legal 450 Bushmaster.
Yeah.
But YouTube completely nixed the video where you can't even see it unless you go look for it. Like it will not be shown to the public.
Yeah.
But then the next video they got demonetized. It gets shown a lot.
Yeah,
500 people watch it every single day.
Getting 500 views a day, and
we just don't get any revenue.
We get no money from it. Yeah, it's because your wife shot a deer in the chest, and I showed it on the video, slow motion,
squirting blood everywhere.
Yeah,
brutal.
Mine didn't get demonetized yet. We're past the point of where it would matter. But
knock on wood. I don't know if somebody has to report it, or YouTube sees it, or AI, or something. I don't know how it works.
Who knows?
If somebody reported it, it probably would get demonetized. Because YouTube kind of doesn't like that stuff.
Yeah, I made sure not to show pretty much any blood in that video whatsoever. So if the color looks off to you when you're watching our videos, that's why. Have to. Just what you got to do. Because otherwise, if I left the color the way it is, you wouldn't see the video. They would take
it gets a little bit grayscaled.
Yeah. So down to the YouTube comments. There's a couple that were held for review that you haven't seen yet. So I'm going to go through those.
They were held for review. So how do you see those? Email?
Nah, you got to go into the website,
because everything else pops right up on my phone.
Right. Website studio, then go to comments, and then not responded to, click off that, and then held for review. They make it tough. Some guy named Joe on the last year's deer camp video where Chris killed the 9-point, his comment was, "All you guys do is bitch."
Well, yeah, we're firing.
And I did right. Yeah. Well, for what my comment was, "Are you sure this isn't Tyler Gullett?" And I was like, secret fucking alter ego, but. I always do this when someone complains about our videos just for fun. I like to click on their profile. His entire his only playlist on there is saved emo rock videos, like the sad 90s.
How did he find us? How did he comment and like
Right. And
or is it AI?
you're complaining about us bitching, and that I don't remember any bitching in that video. That was an awesome trip. We killed a big buck. Like, I don't know what the complaint was.
I don't know either. Maybe, I don't know. It's deer camp.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Deer camp.
But
Deer camp.
the guy with the emo playlist named Joe thought we bitched. A guy named Gonzo D505. His name is David Gonzalez. I had to take a picture of it so I could read the whole entire thing. This one is awesome, and it's right up your alley. It's on the High Country Muleys video, so your Western video from last year.
The newest one?
The newest one. He said, definitely not true rucking hunters, not ready for true West Coast treks, bitching about a 2,900-foot elevation hike, pudgy buddy dressed in camo blue, get them teeth fixed, fella, yikes. And what's with that shit Irish intro, we're hunting in America? Come on, man. Try shooting them with an arrow instead of a camera there, guys. Stay in Ohio.
I love it.
Like, that is awesome. Like, a guy like that's just begging to be.
And I love that he went through the
whole
time
video
to come up with that.
Watch the whole hour-long video.
I have so many things I could say. Yes, we're fat. Yes, we're from Ohio. We are from Ohio.
Fix your teeth, bitch.
My teeth are fucked up. That's a long story.
Yeah, they've been broken and replaced and put into place and held it together. It's just funny.
It's funny.
And
we live in his head.
Imagine hating on us. Like, we're just a couple fat firemen sitting in a basement talking about deer hunting.
And I tried to go to Utah. I tried to go to Utah and shoot a mule deer, and that's what this guy thinks.
We're the guys that you hate on. Like, he's the guy that lives out there that like finds any flatlander and just like likes to berate them.
And we know the guys that live out there are tough, and there's guys that kill and blah 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 blah. That's not us. We're trying to trek from Ohio. They're
riding around their horses with their belt buckles and their shirts tucked in.
We did run into a local super nice guy when we were in Utah. This bitch was wearing like bibs. It was 90 degrees out, and he's just up and down.
Like nothing.
Yeah, me and Dylan are like, yeah, we seen a big buck over there. He's like, oh, I came up from down over there, and he was 5,000 feet above us. And so, I mean, that's what they live. That's what they do.
Looks like we go down to West Virginia, and we're breathing like crazy after we climb a 400-foot hill, and then the local 85-year-old dude with a cigarette in his mouth is just walking along with a squirrel rifle, like looking at us like we're a bunch of idiots. Yeah, I don't know. It's just funny. Our video, we always post. Everything we do is ethical. We try and follow as many laws as we can at all times and show it. And we're always showing exactly how things happen, even if it's ugly. And like, then we get hate like that. But we know that there's a lot of hate out there.
So I don't know what would that guy want from us? Does he want us to?
He wants us to not come out there.
Yeah.
So he said it. Stay in Ohio, you idiot.
Well, good.
Yeah. Brad Bradshaw in one of the deer camp videos complained about us poking the deer with the gun. We've had many comments about that. Like, people complain that after, like, it's Chris who does it. It's always Gore who does it. After he shoots a deer, he goes up and he pokes it with
probably something taught to him by his grandpa or whatever.
He made some comment like, the deer's eyes were open, like, you guys watch too much YouTube. The deer was of course the deer was dead. And like, my thoughts are like, you watch an hour-long video of us at deer camp, and like, that was your takeaway.
That's what you picked out.
Your takeaway was that right there, which is kind of interesting. Uncle Ronnie commented on the Gore Camp film from this year. And some expensive deer meat.
That is the biggest understatement I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, holy crap! Our deer meat costs $2,000 a pound
at least.
Beef's cheap, man. Like, obviously, we're not doing this just for eating the deer meat, but. Ryan Robbins commented on the deer camp video, you guys look like a bunch of alcoholics. Which is funny, because last night we had a deer hanging up in the shop and I didn't drink one single beer.
I had a beer, which was the first beer I had in 2 weeks.
It's all situational. When in Rome there, Ryan Robbins. If we're at deer camp
it was on a deer camp.
Yeah, it was on deer camp.
Yeah, we're alcoholics at deer camp.
Yeah, we're not driving anywhere. We're stuck in a cabin for a week with a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, we work our whole year, our whole lives, and then we get to go to deer camp for 5 days.
Yeah.
We're down there with our boys. We got beer, deer hunting.
Yeah. You're never going to convince a non-drinker that drinking's okay. So I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we're sorry.
We're sorry. We're drinking at deer camp. Shame on us.
I'm going to open a beer right now. Fuck.
Wait. Our Deer Shop podcast logo
has a beer on it.
Beer
on a cooler. On a cooler. That's funny. Kate Park, a woman, commented on our videos. She said my thumbnail's gay.
Which one?
Of the storm. My buck kill thumbnail's gay. I talked about this a little bit when I was on the board again.
There was another comment. I don't know if you have it written down. Somebody complained about the title of the storm.
She's the one.
Oh, that's the one.
That's what she said. I couldn't quite follow what she said, but she said, like, great video, awesome footage, everything's awesome, buck, but your thumbnail's a bit gay.
And said, like, you needed to name it Giant Buck or something.
Well, yeah, I was like, thanks, I guess. What's gay about it? I want to know, obviously. I'm going to engage her. And she said something like, you should have called it, like, The Stud.
Yeah.
I think she misunderstood the purpose of the title.
Yeah.
I do think
the preamble was before the storm, the first video of Deer Camp Chronicles.
Calm Before the Storm.
Yeah, then you had the Kentucky video. And then our first Ohio video, the storm.
Yeah,
the storm is there. Deer season is here.
She obviously doesn't follow a lot of our stuff because, like, if she did, she would know that, like, I don't follow the YouTube rules. So those are the YouTube rules, like catchy thumbnail, title, all this stuff. Like, that's not how I do it. We go the cinematic route. Like, I have a fancy name for my episode, and that's
it's just how we want to do it.
Yeah, I make these videos exactly how I want it, how my OCD works, how we can look back on it in the future, and I can feel happy about it.
And
we lose views because of it?
Yeah,
hell yeah.
We've ranted about it in the past, like the algorithm, the SEO video you're supposed to have is like your face.
Yeah, I just need to start doing reaction shots on my face, and we'll do better. But I just refuse to ever do a reaction face thumbnail. I'll never.
And that's what they say you're supposed to do. That's what THP is doing now.
Yep. Like,
picture of Zach going, and then an elk in the background for the video, and they did that for 14 episodes.
That shit's gay. I mean, let's be perfectly clear here. That shit's gay.
I understand why they're doing it because their livelihood is dependent on them getting more views.
Yeah, it's just funny that she picked that out, but
it's funny. But the comments overall are pretty positive.
Yeah, there was a lot of comments in the last one I have here. There was a lot of comments about, like, your camera work and what camera was being used and what lens was being used. Some guys on Facebook even said, like, I literally went out and bought that camera because of this video. So, like,
because of that Wizards of the Woods post or whatever that was.
Yep, which I didn't win.
You didn't win? Huh?
No,
should have,
but I didn't.
Imagine the big guys, Seek One, like people that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and the video gets 1 million
Midwest
views.
Whitetail, Heartland Bowhunter.
What does their comment section look like?
I don't know.
Because, like, when we see the public comments, like, you can go on and see the comments on their videos, and they're usually pretty normal, positive. There'll be some negative comments that they'll leave on there, but they're normal, positive comments.
I mean, you get to a point where you just don't care
about
your comments.
But we get these comments that are off the wall, so I'm sure they're getting 10 times as many off-the-wall comments.
Yeah,
filter through them.
Once you get so big, you can't even really. Mm-hmm. I always chuckle, Hunter, when I listen to the Hunter podcast, we've talked about them at length, obviously, but there's times that we'll listen to Hunter podcasts when there's interesting ones. They always say, like, we're going through DMs, we're getting back, we're going to, thanks for all the comments, we're reading them. Like, I've messaged them like 2 or 3 times, and they've never replied to me. Mm-hmm. And I've messaged them always when they point out something incredibly erroneous or stupid. Because they tend to do that from time to time, like not knowing the hole in the horn buck, or like talking about how they're going to start burning their farms in Ohio in July when it's completely illegal. Like they were just wrong about something, so I had to be that. I was that asshole commenter, like whoa. But they never replied. So
speaking of that, burn ban's in effect right now, right? Usually till like November.
Yeah, you can burn after 6 p.m.
One of our neighbors was burning. I'm like, he is going to burn this forest down because it is so.
At your house or
the farm?
Really?
You know where?
Okay. Yeah.
Where I just was.
The burn ban is in effect.
Where I just was.
6 p.m. until November, and then it's open again. So.
Well, I took Kendall back in the woods with me, and she stayed by the side-by-side while I was back there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I'm pretty sure the neighbor is going to burn the forest down.
Whatever. We could use a good burning.
As long as it doesn't burn our houses down.
Well, it's time to get to the topic we're here for today.
Shots that we want back.
Shots we want back. Shots we wish we had taken.
Or maybe shots we would have wished we'd performed better.
Yeah, shots we would have done.
Maybe not got them back, but aimed a little bit more left, right, center. Better.
There's a lot of different things. I'll let you go first on yours. I'll let you choose.
Well, I'll do the most recent one, was the elk that I missed in Utah, and this is all in the film. There's no hiding from this one.
Pudgy guy with bad teeth up on a
mountain. Guy, bad teeth, mountain from Ohio, shouldn't be there. Shooting at a small elk, which Utah, they're kind of like a trophy state when it comes to hunting elk, or they're a spike. A lot of the units there, you can only shoot spikes, or if you draw the special crazy tag. So I was shooting at a bull elk that was kind of in between a spike and a trophy. It was a raghorn. and it was just bad placement, I guess. Just a bad shot. I drew back, had my single pin sight set at 40 yards. He came through the saddle perfectly at 40 yards and just walked straight at me. Got to like 10, 15 yards looking right at me.
And what was your pin set at?
Pin was set at 40 or 45, whatever the saddle is, 40 or 45, I think I say in the video. So it's a single pin, so I have to guess where to put it on him. And it was shoot now or never, because he looked at me, he was going to bolt. So I decided to pull the trigger, and I totally whiffed it under him.
So you just held too low?
Like held too low.
Super, super low, obviously?
I needed to hold a little bit higher, I guess. Yeah, so I held super low.
You must have been holding way low.
And I was drawn back for like a whole minute. You can see that in the video, too.
Your anchor's probably all fucked up.
Anchor's fucked up. It was super windy, and I probably punched the trigger. Like, everything was bad about the shot, but he was so close that I thought for sure it was just going to be perfect. And it, like, sailed perfectly between his legs. Like, it couldn't have been a more perfect miss.
Yeah.
If I would have missed in any other direction.
Didn't leg him. You didn't hit him high.
If I would have missed to the right, it would have hit him in the hindquarters.
Yeah.
To the left, it would have brisketed him up. It would have hit him somewhere in the face. But it goes right between. It sails perfectly right between his legs.
Crazy.
And I had it in slow-mo. So you can see the arrow flying kind of sideways, too. So that makes me think either my shot was poor, or it was the wind, something was off. And somehow it missed him. Giant elk missed him at 15 yards.
How much do you think he weighed? Like when you say giant elk, like what size body are we talking? Like 700, 800 pounds?
No, I think a big bull weighs like 600 to 700. So this one was probably like 300 pounds.
Okay.
So like bigger than a cow elk, but not as
bigger than
as
a white. Obviously
bull.
Bigger than a white.
Yeah, so probably 300 to 400 pounds. Phew. And me and Dylan talked about it afterwards because we were hunting together. This was our last day we were hunting this spot. We were out of water, no water. Truck was a couple miles away. It would have been hazardous to our health if I would have shot him, because he would have went right down into this hole that we would have had to bring him up out of, and we were
take days
running on fumes, 90 degrees out. It would have been. It's almost like it worked out the way it should have worked out on that situation.
The first two stories I'm going to tell are actually shots that I didn't take, starting with October 25th. 2009 when I had a 200-inch buck.
The day of infamy.
I had a 200-inch buck at 30 yards, and I just completely froze up. I was too conservative back then. I mean, I was only 19 years old.
Yeah, very early in our bow hunting career.
I was 19 years old. I was trying to film with a camcorder that took a tape. It was Tim Pavlik's camcorder. So I was filming a Tim Pavlik's camcorder, and I'm pretty sure I was in our neighbor, what was his name? He lived in Kyle and Rachel's house, Grandpa Jim's old house. He was a track coach at Cloverleaf. Mike Kelling. I was using Mike Kelling's climbing stand, and I was using Tim Pavlik's camcorder with a tape and an old Gorilla tree arm, and I had my bow, my old Hoyt Laser Tech, and I was watching this 200-inch buck chase does around our field, the same field I shot 7-card in, and I was so taken aback by the situation. And there was one point where he chased a doe around and stopped in the weeds directly west of me at 30 yards, broadside. A little bit of a thicker shot, but like if I wasn't focused on the camera and what was happening, like if it was today, I would have had my bow drawn and I would have sent in there.
You would have been dead.
Or he'd be wounded. I mean, I would have taken a shot at him that day if it was today, for sure. But back then, I just wasn't ready for that situation.
And you were trying to film it.
Yeah.
In 2009 when
which I'm glad that I was filming. And obviously the video
footage.
quality is 2009 footage quality, you know. Mm-hmm. But actually it might have been 2008. I think it's 2008. Blue killed in 2009, right?
I think you're right.
Yeah, so it was 2008. So I was 18 years old.
So it is the infamous Freak Daddy.
Yep. It was Freak Daddy. Found his shed later that year, not far from there, a couple 100 yards, 500 yards. But it just, I'll never forget that I didn't send an arrow on that deer, and I probably should have.
Mm-hmm. And the rest is history. Luke ended up killing him the next year.
Yep, all that, blah, blah, blah. Which is good.
Ended up scoring 205 green, 199 dry, blah, 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 200-inch deer.
Well, it was 199 gross, 193 net.
Mm-hmm. Something
or
like
187 net. Mm-hmm. Regardless.
200-inch deer in our book. Yes. For all intensive purposes.
The next shot I want to talk about real quick that I didn't take was the old 5x3, the buck you killed the next year. It was the year that I actually killed Dad's buck, but I had 5x3 come out in a food plot like mid-October, about this time frame.
Beautiful.
Right now. Beautiful footage.
I think that shot's in the intro of the podcast right now. Him walking away.
Yeah, it's in the intro. Yeah. There's a new podcast intro for this video, by the way. I kind of made a new one, so it might still be in there. I can't remember. I think it is. It's still in there. Beautiful colors, super mature 4 or 5 year old buck out in my food plot, and I was so pigeonholed on trying to kill another deer that I didn't even pick up my bow. And like looking back, I should have just shot that buck, and then you could hunt Dad's buck.
And it could have been a beautiful film and blah blah blah.
Right, and just for whatever reason. Once again, I did not take the shot, didn't even pick up my bow. I was just filming. Another buck came out. We didn't really have a name for him, 3-year-old 8-point. Filmed him for a while and just, I don't know. Should have taken those 2 shots. Wish I had them back. Those are shots that I wish I had back.
But those are also deer that we've ended up killing a year later, a year more mature.
Yeah, you killed the one. The other one disappeared. That other buck, that 8-point, I don't know what happened to him. Mm-hmm. Neighbor with a thermal scope or something. Who knows? But I'll let you go. You're up next.
Let's see. Oh, here's another shot I wish I had back.
Isaac's no-note guy over here.
No, never have.
I have all the notes in the world. Isaac has none.
I have at least 2 more to talk about. Well, 3 probably. This one is it still haunts me to this day. And, of course, it is also on film. Nebraska, 2022, 3, 1? 2021, I think.
Season 6, episode 11.
Yeah.
How about that?
Is that it?
Yeah. Just because I made the thumbnail, that's the only reason I know that. It's the worst edited Western video we ever had because I edited it.
No. Next Nebraska video.
Okay.
Same year. So I hunted Nebraska twice in 1 year back then.
Okay.
God, the times were glorious back then and we didn't even know it.
Yeah, that's done.
Fuck. So I hunted Nebraska. I'll start at the beginning. First time out west, first time west of the Mississippi in my life, ever doing anything. Me and Dylan go to Nebraska and hunt for a week out of a motel for velvet mule deer, and it is a terrible hunt. We ended up getting 1 stalk the whole week.
He saw a bunch of big whitetails and elk on private, right?
Yeah, close to Publix.
Yeah.
So we end up seeing 1 big mule deer. We don't even get a stalk on it, and this is a weird circle of events. That deer that we saw, we're pretty sure is the one that Zach Keim killed that year in Nebraska when we were there.
Really?
You remember that video? There's a video of Zach Keim. I don't know if he's Keim Outdoors. He's going around now because he shot a big giant whitetail.
He's going to be on Hunter this week, I think.
He was out there with...
He shot at 213.
He was out there with a different crew, no way connected, shot a giant mule deer in Nebraska on public, and we think it's the one we saw.
I have completely forgot about that story, but I think you're right. I think you're right.
Anyways, we saw that 1 big mule deer the whole time. The only stalk I got was actually on like a 8-point 100-inch whitetail.
Okay.
Which I completely blew. First stalk ever.
Wow.
So the whole week was terrible. High hunting pressure, not a lot of deer on private, a lot of deer on not a lot of deer on public, a lot of deer on private. Blah, blah, blah. We hunted for a week. Bo came home. Later on in the year, I decided to go to Montana to rifle hunt. Mule deer and elk.
Okay.
Shot a mule deer.
It's when the antlers popped off, spined him.
Yeah, antlers popped off.
How far was the shot?
475. Longest shot I ever taken. I'm pretty proud of that shot.
Broken ass teeth, pudgy ass Ohio.
Yeah, shot him. Didn't get any shot at any elk, but on the way home from Montana, it is middle of November, beginning of November-ish.
Yeah, because you were gone during like rut here.
Yeah, middle of November or beginning of November-ish, I decided to stop back in Nebraska. Solo. I still have that archery tag. It's open for like another week. So I give it a go. End up having an awesome hunt. Locate this nice 3x3. It looks like a whitetail. It looks like a 130-inch whitetail.
Right. No brows.
No brows. And I'm able to stalk into him and get a shot at like 65 yards, shoot under him, get another shot at like 80 yards, shoot under him again. If I had just aimed 6 inches higher, that deer would have been on my wall, and it would have been awesome.
And yeah, here we are. You had a lot of good quality footage, I remember, from that hunt. Like the mule deer footage was great.
Yeah, you can go back and watch that hunt. That one still hurts because that was the time where hunting Nebraska was tough. It was popular. It was tough. A lot of people did it. It was over the counter. To come back with a nice buck would have been awesome.
It would have been 2 mule deer, same trip, right?
Yeah, 2 mule deer in the same trip.
That would have been awesome. Number 5 for me. I have 5. I compiled a list of 5, so you're going to have to come up with 5. number 5 for me was me and you 2021 turkey hunting. And there's a lot of turkey hunting misses I could talk about. But me and you were turkey hunting 2021. That year we had gobblers all over our farm. Gobblers. That morning we had a gobbler roosted on the middle ridge. Like perfect kind of hunt that we always love to have on our property. Just bird gobbling. Don't have to worry about the neighbors. Setup was good. That bird gobble, gobble, gobble. You filmed him up in the tree. And then eventually he came down, was coming down. He was working his way down the middle road path up from like the bulrush area. And we've been battling with him I just remember we were battling for like an hour. We were doing everything we can to film this perfect turkey hunt with 3 different camera angles and all that shit. And he eventually stuck his head up. And like, I guess I just misjudged the yards and just got excited. And I remember I shot, missed him, and I peppered this beech tree, this perfect beech tree, just smoked with pellets everywhere. And then we paced off the shot. It was like 62 yards or
way
something,
far for
something ridiculous for my Remington 870 Super Mag. And I just remember being so like, we did all that work that morning to have the perfect hunt. And if we probably would have played him a little bit longer, he probably would have ended up strutting up that road. But I was just getting impatient, you know how it goes. And I just completely whiffed that shot. I've missed a lot of turkeys in my day, so.
That was before TSS, and before this, before that. Nowadays, people are making that shot all day.
100 yards on a turkey.
Also in the podcast intro.
Me. I ended up killing that bird, though, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I killed that bird like 4 or 5 days later in the rain out of the blind that I killed 7 card this year. Shot him at like 5 steps, so that was nice. All right, number 3 for you.
Number 3 for me would probably be the larger elk that I missed in Montana 2023, so year before last.
5x5?
He might have even had 6. So I'm 95% sure it's the same bull that I filmed because it was in the same spot. He looked the same. You can go watch that video as well, of course. But I didn't get the shot on film. Basically, after hunting with Dylan and Jay for a couple days, they went off. I went mule deer hunting. I came back. I was solo elk hunting in the backcountry of Montana, way back, probably as far back as I've ever been, 5, 6, 7 miles in the back. I locate all these elk. I see where they're coming out. They're coming out in this super high clearing, super high meadow. So that day I decide to hike up there, probably another couple 1,000 feet elevation from my camp, get in the perfect spot, no elk to be seen. I'm sitting there all day. Nothing's responding to calls, nothing. And all of a sudden, here they come. The smaller bull comes out. He's pushing cows all around. Then the larger, not super big. He's like when it comes to Montana public, if people hunt Montana public, he's like an average bull for Montana public. Small 6x6 or 5x5-ish.
Big for you, though.
Oh, yeah. He would have looked real nice on that. He was an actual bull elk, not like the one I missed in Utah that was like a raghorn. This thing was an actual...
You never really explained the way the raghorn looks. Imagine taking like it looked like...
There's beautiful slow-mo video of him.
When he says raghorn, he's talking about if you take one of those red clay pigeon throwers you buy from Walmart, put 2 of them on top of this elk's head because it was like huge spikes with some like shit at the top.
Yeah. So it was like he was like a spike, but then had palmation at the end. But anyways, this bull in Montana, real elk, real 5x5 or 6x6 elk, comes out pushing, and this is another situation. I'm on top this huge ridge in a clearing. The wind is freaking howling. They kind of stayed far away, like 100 yards, up to like 90. I'm ranging. And then they decide to cut, and this bull is following this cow perfectly. I think it was like 72 yards, something like that. I draw back. I am shaking like a son of a bitch. I settle the pin on him, and I pull the trigger, and I just watch my arrow just going right for him and just right between his legs again.
You like to be in between elk legs.
And he was completely broadside and perfect, and this thing was sailing and right between his legs. Then he kind of bounded off. I thought I was going to get another shot. I thought I was going to get a shot at the smaller one, and that was it. They were gone. That would have been a super proud hunt because... Montana public, again, people hunt it, they know.
And by yourself.
By myself. A lot of pressure. This would have been the perfect spot. There was a lot of people camping in the bottoms way below, and I was a couple miles further in and up. So I wasn't having any issue with pressure, and it would have just been perfect. But
man, old Isaac used to be cool.
Yeah. This was
new Isaac's kind of gay.
2 years ago.
So this is a perfect time to talk about it. You didn't have any footage of that because everything that was happening, right?
So yeah, that was it was the last few days I had of that hunt. So I had been hunting hard for probably 2.5 to 3 weeks. And then I was meeting Kendall out. She was coming out. So I think like she was going to land in Bozeman in Montana, the only airport in Montana, like 2 days or 2 or 3 days from there. So I was pretty much towards the end of my hunt. I was tired. I was just trying to give it my all. So the cameras just didn't really roll that day. If people go on these hunts, they know that it's not that you get lazy, but you definitely get lazy with the filming.
Yeah, we've been, and people have like
same thing with our bear hunt we went on. Like we weren't filming what we were on the last day that we were on the first day.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of comments from people like, well, that's how the video ends? Well, yeah, because like we've been there for 9 days, and by day 6, you were just so done of day 6, seeing squirrels, leaves blowing, no elk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I did my best, and there's not a whole, some people have done it. There's not a whole lot of self-filmed, successful, nice elk hunts out there. And I was trying my best.
Barely any at all.
You'll see a lot of like GoPro on the bow type deal.
Yeah.
Which I could have done that, I guess, but I was trying to do big camera
stuff.
Yeah. So next time I do it by myself, if there's a time, I'm going to try to definitely give it justice and probably get a camera that attaches to the bow. So like at the very least, I can make that happen.
Thankfully, I'm at the point now in my hunting career, like thankfully, that I can spend the time to not panic and I can get the camera on and film the things properly, because if I don't get an opportunity at a buck, I've killed bucks and there'll be more bucks. But when I was younger, I was either so worried about getting it on camera that I didn't take shots, or I was so worried about getting the shots that I didn't take the camera. And there's a couple of these stories I'm about to tell coming up where like I wish I would have done a better job of filming, because looking back, I would have more to go off of than just memories, and I'd be able to show some of it, And
yeah, same thing. And when you're done with these trips, you want it back because you want to be able to film that. And I think, if I remember right, just a little bit of offshoot on that last story, I had a camera that I would attach to my bow. It was GoPro. But I missed an antelope earlier in the trip.
Another miss.
Yeah. Well, anybody hunts antelope with a bow spot stock, you're
throwing arrows at them.
So I missed an antelope earlier in the hunt, and I think the camera was affecting my shooting a little bit. So I took the camera off my bow.
Yeah.
Because if you have even if it's a GoPro, if you attach to the bow, it might change your point of impact and stuff. So I did have a camera on at one point, but took it off.
The next story I want to tell is Dad's buck shot number 1. That falls into the category of me panicking to try and get a deer killed, because I've been filming all season and I had my first encounter with him that I did a terrible job of actually filming. I didn't even really try to get the deer on camera. I wish I would have. He came in last light on Thursday gun season. The story's been told a million times. There's a video all about it, but I wish I would have done a better job of just slowing down, get my main camera on him, find him, calm down, and take the shot. It was getting dark, so the main camera might have had problems focusing at the distance he was, because he was 100 plus yards away. There's secondary angle of me shooting at him. I didn't use the tree as a proper rest or anything. I stood up and I should have been sitting down. There was just a lot of things that I did in the panic of, oh my God, I've been hunting for literally 8 weeks straight.
This buck, and now he's showing up. I got a gun in my hand.
Yeah, finally showed up. I got a gun in my hand, rushed the shot. And I missed clean, and I didn't get good footage, and it was just a total fucking clown show. And I really wish I had that one back. As the story goes, I'm sure you've heard it on the podcast. I don't know if we ever actually specifically talked about that whole season on a podcast yet. Probably keep that for a rainy day. But I ended up killing him the next morning. Same thing. I wish I would have done a better job of filming. I was on the ground, so I only had my GoPro clipped to my vest. Wasn't even looking at anything. The main camera was in my backpack. Didn't turn any cameras or anything on, and I shot him when I was on the ground, kind of rushed the shot. He was chasing does, not going anywhere. Just panic all the way around.
Hit him in the brisket.
Blew him through the brisket, cut his windpipe, and he just lived for hours, and Isaac had to put him down.
Yeah, it required a follow-up
puddle of his own blood, and it was just, about the slop, yeah.
Ohio gun season at its finest.
That's the slop. So I wish I would have handled the Dad's buck situation differently. If it was happening today, I probably would. But it goes right into my next story, which I'll just go straight to it. Another situation where I try to do things slower, and I just, for some reason, I don't know if it was because it was so dark. I didn't feel panicked, but I had a plan work out perfectly, and I just completely fucked it up. But the Megatron story, he showed up once again Wednesday or Thursday or Friday of gun season a couple years ago. I had him on camera 1 or 2 times prior to that. He showed up on cell camera during gun season, hitting scrapes in daylight. So I went in that afternoon to the area, and lo and behold, he showed up, last-ish light. I got some footage of him coming in. It's not great quality because he's 100 yards through the trees kind of deal.
And he's a mature, nice,
he was
a funky buck. But
he was at his peak that year, too. Mm-hmm. He was at his peak maturity. Some other guy, Nick had trail camera videos of this deer 2 miles away. It was a very well-known deer in town, and my plan worked out perfectly, but I didn't take the time to turn the camera in like manual focus mode, wait till he stopped moving somewhere. He was with 3 other bucks, and they were like pestering some does, and he was just running amok, late breeding, probably second does in heat kind of situation because it was gun season here in Ohio, like December 2nd or something. And I had the shot on video, even though it was the quality of it is low.
Yeah, far away.
I kind of rushed the shot, and then I got 2 follow-up shots at him because he kind of just hung out like, what the fuck is that? And
somehow you missed them all.
All 3 I fucking missed. And I just, man, that was something.
Oof.
Woof is right. And I wish I would have done a better job of filming it. I didn't rush anything, but I wish I would have done a better job filming it, and I wish I would have got a better rest and waited for a better shot, or maybe not taking the shot even though it was there because it was 100 yards through the trees and dark. Waited until the next morning, would have went back in the next morning and maybe got a better, I don't know what I could have done differently, but I definitely didn't like the results of the shot, so that one really sucks. But all right, time for your number 4.
Number 4, Shorty, 8-pointer, wounded, not shouldered, high shot him.
Yeah, like no man's land.
Yeah, perfect. Everything worked out. Rut hunt came in. Footage.
It was between no man's land and high lung.
Yeah, so
he probably died.
Yeah, which sucks. So he came in perfect. I had like 25-yard shot. He ducked like you wouldn't believe a deer could duck.
Backstand. He was rutting. He was just rutting.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I should have shot him walking instead of. So I stopped him, and he dropped hard, hit him high. It was the first year I had my bow. I had a shoulder issue, so I was only shooting 60 pounds, rage broadhead, lighter arrow, and it just hit him in the back. Couple inches of penetration, really.
Yeah.
Not much blood trail. Didn't get much.
Well, I don't know if there was. I wouldn't say there wasn't much blood trail. I mean, we followed the blood for
a little while,
all the way up into those cattails.
Yeah,
same place you lost your buck from last year, like literally the same exact place is where he went.
But ended up not finding him.
It's
and I don't think a broadhead would have made a difference if we got a pass through and where that location where he shot, where I hit him. I don't think it would have really done anything.
Yeah, what sucks about it is you just needed to be 2 inches lower, 2 or 3 inches lower, and that would have been Smoke City.
Just high shot, but through the back straps, ricochet off the vertebrae, and that's how it works.
It would have been the vertebrae, and you didn't even hit the vertebrae hard enough to like paralyze him a little bit. You get that temporary paralysis, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. And you didn't even have that. He just did a mule kick and ran off, which
wish I would have aimed a little lower. I guess it's pretty much.
I mean, that's literally that story would have been. I mean, that's the kind of shit you dream up in labs, right? You're doing a rut hunt. This buck just comes in cruising.
He walked right at me and then turned perfectly 25 yards. And
everything on camera, 2 angles. And just
story of our lives.
Fucked it up. All right. Speaking of fucking it up, my number 2 worst shot of all that I wish I had back was Hook 1. 2017, I believe it was. 2015, 2014. I don't even know when it was.
In the saga.
It was the year Hook was probably a 3-year-old, I would say. He was a 9-point first year that we really know about him on our farm. We had him coming in regular is a word I can't say, regularly coming in to our food plot, the lake plot, which is still there. We had some corn out that year, clover planted, I think it was, maybe brassicas, I can't remember. But he was just regular up until the season. Opening day, maybe second day, Sunday. I can't remember if it was opening day or the second day. I'm in the stand, and early. I'm talking like 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock. I happen to just hear a twig snap, and I looked over to my right, and my target number 1 buck that I wanted to kill so bad was standing at like 12 yards. And I was pretty high up in this tree, a lot of branches. It's an oak tree with a lot of cover. It's the stand that Isaac was going to replace this year and then said, fuck it.
It's like too much now.
Yeah, too much now. Up in that stand, and he was just walking. He was going to circle downwind of the food plot and enter. He was probably going to catch my wind at some point, so I was very cautious about that. But I was able, since he came in on my north side, to explain it, I'm facing directly west. He came in on my right, so I had to spin in the tree, got the camera on him. The footage isn't the greatest, but it's there. You can see him. It's perfectly light out. It's just through some brush. And I ended up getting drawn back. I remember I bumped the camera a little bit when I was drawn back, but I don't even know how to explain it. He was broadside, 12, 13 yards. Maybe it was a little bit farther than that, maybe like 20-ish, but he was close, broadside, standing there. And I'm trying to thread the needle through all this stuff. And I either backstrapped him a little bit high and just got fat on the arrow, or completely missed him. We're not quite sure. He had a scar afterwards, so I think I might have backstrapped him high. But yeah, I shot right over his back.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know if your number 1 is the next story you're gonna tell, you shooting him out of the same tree and missing him, but that was the beginning of the Hook saga, and there's a whole bunch of stories. I guess we can transition that right into 20 days later. You're in the same exact stand.
Yeah, same exact stand. He comes in perfect. It's November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, whenever it was.
Yeah,
get perfect video of him coming in. Obviously, self-filming problem. So as soon as he starts getting where you have to get ready for a shot, you got to zoom the camera out and kind of turn it in the direction that he's going, because you don't have a cameraman with you. He cuts the food plot, so he stays on the far edge, like 43 maybe. Probably a little bit further shot than I should have been taking.
That's back when you were shooting heavy arrows.
Heavy arrows, old bow. But it was also like the heyday of my archery career, where my shooting was the best it's ever been. Like, super confident behind the bow. And this arrow just sailed low. I don't know if it was a range thing.
And we still don't know where you hit him.
So we find the arrow.
The shot's on video, but we have just a hard time because the reaction looks like you smoked him.
Yeah, so maybe we'll reanalyze that. I shoot. I think I smoke him. I hear a big crack. He runs off.
Mule kick.
Yeah, mule kick. It's all on video. I text Caleb. I think I shot Hook. Well, I know I shot Hook. Yeah. I think I killed him. Caleb sees him.
Yeah, so I'm hunting far away. I'm hunting 400, 300, 500 yards to the south of him on the edge of just a massive like thicket and network of trails. And before I even got the text message from Isaac, I hear, and here comes Hook through the woods, and he looks just fine. He goes down this trail. He stops at like 50 yards. I don't have a shot because it's 50 yards through the woods, but he stops on this knob, then down into this creek, and then just goes into this thicket. And then after I pull my phone out, this is like T9 word days of phones with like keyboards and shit. Pull my phone out to text Isaac like, oh shit, man, I just had an encounter with Hook. And for some reason, why wasn't I videotaping?
You might have been. It just was too quick.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's no video of this encounter. Maybe there is somewhere. I had to look back. I don't know why there would be video that I don't remember taking. So for some reason, I might have fucked the videotaping up on that one. But I should have been videotaping.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it happened so fast I couldn't get the camera on him. But I went to text Isaac. Was like, dude, this Hook just came 50 yards down the trail, just one trail over farther than what I needed. And I go to open up my phone. I have a text message from Isaac. I just smoked Hook. And I'm like,
no, you didn't.
Now we're confused. Because I'm like, I know for a fact that I seen Hook. Maybe you shot another buck. And I remember after a little bit, I got down and went over to where he stood in the woods before he went down into that creek and then up into a bedding. And there was one drop of blood on an oak leaf. Mm-hmm. So he did bleed, but we don't know where from.
And at the shot site, I got down, same thing, went to go check out my arrow. I could see that my arrow was laying there. It was broke off at the broadhead.
Yeah.
With no blood, no nothing. Just broke off at the broadhead. Broadhead gone. Shooting a Rage 2 blade.
I wonder.
I had to hit him in the elbow.
Here come all the haters are going to be like, oh, the Rage is all, two of Isaac's bucks didn't die because of Rage. Which I wonder if with that old bow, with how heavy those arrows were and how slow you were shooting them and how much you were shooting back in the day.
Kicked the arrow.
Well, I also wonder if your arrow might have just been sometimes I think we shoot damaged arrows, arrows that have hairline cracks,
and it just broke
from
off.
So much shooting. and screwed in field points and hitting things with their arrows. That like when those arrows that have like those little tiny defects
hit something, they
something
shatter.
like that, they just shatter. Yeah.
Because same thing happened. Not to get into a different story. Born again Matt shot that deer in Indiana. Same thing. Broke off at the broadhead. No blood trail.
Yeah, it was the same
On
exact.
film.
It was the same exact style shot. Like possible leg. We're not quite sure why, but like the arrow should have sliced through the deer like butter,
And it did.
and it didn't.
But that was that.
That was that. I'll just finish mine off. The shot I wish I had back more than anything in the world was the Hook 2 encounter. So fast forward 2 years, not the next year, the 2 years after that.
Hook's a 5 or 6 year old giant.
160 inch 10-point, clean, perfect rack, everything you could imagine. Just
Beautiful.
beautiful 160 inch 10-point. And for some reason, I was filming that night, but I didn't run the camera at the shot, and I don't
Because
know
it
why.
was nearing dark.
Yeah,
So
it was
like
it was
we
dark.
talked about
It was
earlier.
dark 30. I had Hook coming into. He was actually coming into a corn pile / food plot that I had planted exactly where you had left your side by side today to go check some cameras. Like it was a corner. It was 2 neighbors ago. Corner of this property that we had permission to be on back when it was mostly CRP and pine trees. This big open area, and I'd had Hook coming in quite regular. Can't say that fucking word.
I don't know.
Regularly. Had Hook coming in. I set up 150, 200 yards off the corn edge of this field where I knew he was kind of coming through, hopefully, and last light, everything's perfect. I look up and I just see him coming out. He's just doing the fat buck rut walk, like low grunt every time he walks. And I'm not recording for some reason. It was, like you said, probably too dark for the camera to take anything worth a shit. But I stopped him at 17 yards broadside, everything lined up. And if I would have just aimed 2 inches lower, just 2 inches lower, I would have smoked him. But I hit him in the same place that Isaac hit that shorty 8 we just talked about. Backstrap, not shoulder, but like backstrap up kind of near the shoulder, above the lungs.
Yeah, if anybody knows the deer, the anatomical like bones in the deer, behind their shoulder blades is the spinal cord, and then the vertebrae are super tall, probably like 3 inches tall.
Yeah, they got wings too.
Yeah, so the vertebrae are like 3 inches tall. That's what goes in the middle of the backstrap. So you go through the backstraps, hit the vertebrae, but the spine is lower.
Yeah,
so you hit these bones, and it's non-fatal to these deer.
It made an insane shot. So or sound when I released the arrow, it was like an arrow. It was like a broadhead hitting concrete. Just whack, and he hit the ground. He just it looked like he got hit by a car. Just ironically, smashed into the ground, and he starts spinning in circles. Like he made like a roar or one of those like sounds that the bucks make, and he's spinning around in circles, kicking up dirt everywhere. And I'm trying to knock another arrow. And I think that, in my mind, I'm thinking I spined him. So he's going to die, but I need to
get another arrow. Yeah.
And then he stands up. Oh my God, I'll never forget this. And I wish I would have had a better camera and was filming it in the lower light better. Cause he stood up and he ran 20 yards directly away from me and stopped facing directly away. Like we're in a Texas heart shot situation at 40 some yards, and the arrow is sticking out of his side. Not good penetration, and it has a green luminoc on it. And I remember he looks left towards the corn pile, and then he looks right to look back to see what had just hit him, because he had no idea what had happened. And he sees the arrow sticking out of himself with the lighted knock on the end, and before I could release a Texas heart shot, send one into his back from far kind of deal, I think I was at full draw, if I remember correctly. He just books it to the right, back to where he came from, east, full speed, and just goes crashing up into, with the arrow, and the arrow was still in him, goes crashing up into some open woods. And, like I said, I'm going to keep reiterating, I wish we had better camera gear and had filmed it better, because we'd have a lot more to go off of. We're doing it all off of memory at this time. It was 2016, I believe, is the year it was. First year of SBO Live, by the way, and there is some footage of our recovery.
Yeah.
Tyler Arders was having a housewarming party that night. So all our friends are there, and the local community members, we all show up and go over there. And I'm like, I just had, and I retell the story like I just did now to everyone there, my buddies and all my hunting people. And man, I just put an arrow and Hook. I thought I smoked him, and then he got up, and the arrow's still in him, and he's running off. It looked like at the time I'm thinking like it looked pretty good up and down. Obviously I was not happy with the penetration, but I was hoping I got high lung. So we waited. We hung out and drank at Tyler's till like midnight probably. You know, I shot him at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. It's rut, so it like gets dark after daylight saving.
It gets dark at 5 o'clock.
So we gave him like 5 or 6 hours, and then we took someone's Jeep.
Mine.
Was it yours? And there was 2 vehicles that went up there.
Someone's side by probably Tyler.
No, I think there was like 2 Jeeps. Like maybe Spencer White have a Jeep too.
Something.
There was a whole bunch of us.
We took my shitty Jeep Patriot.
We drove it all the way up there to the exact spot where I shot him. Bunch of idiots back then. We were exact spot where I shot him. Drove all the way up there. Got out. Right at the wood line, we found the arrow. You know, maybe 6 inches of penetration, broadhead broken off. Again, common theme here. People are really going to start. We're talking about broadheads. People are going to hammer us for these stories, but broadhead's broken off at the tip, 6 inches of penetration. We get on blood and we follow it. We follow it probably like only like 100, 150 yards, and we call it. We're like, we got to stop. Like he hasn't laid down yet. He's bleeding. Like we have a huge group of people in the woods. There's like 8 of us. Like we need to stop. So we pause the blood trailing and head back. The next morning, I gained permissions from all the neighbors, get a group of guys together to grid search. This is pre-drone, pre-dog actually too.
Yeah.
We go up in there to grid search. I end up getting back on the blood. He ran in an exact straight line. I think we measured it. He ran in a straight line, like didn't deviate left or right any like amount at all. 396 yards, and he bedded down finally, or the blood trail stopped like 40 yards from a house. He ran straight line to a house. And I think he was living a lot of times in that big open area back there. It's just big grassy, nothing CRP, huge area. And then we never found another drop of blood. Grid searched everywhere we could, found nothing.
But the story ends pretty quick.
Well, no. He lived another year.
No, I mean...
he showed up on trail camera like 4 days later.
Yeah, so we got to answer with a huge wound in his back.
Nasty.
He wasn't dead.
Nasty, pus-filled, gashy wound in his back. We were kind of worried that he might die from that because we've had deer disappear after showing back up on camera with a wound. 2 or 3 days later, they never show up again. But he ended up being on camera the rest of that year. I had another encounter with him after we went to West Virginia with Gore. I ended up having an encounter with him in the woods. I had an encounter with him from the spot I shot the 7 card from, also later that rut. So 2 more encounters that rut. And then he lived to be another year older, and he got big with mass and some kickers and got hit by a car. And that's that.
That's that.
And that is that. That's the story of Hook. And I wish I had that shot back, 2 inches lower, and better camera footage of the whole situation. And I'd feel like a more complete hunter if I would have killed that deer proper back then. So.
Well, that was some insight into some past slop that
for all the good that we've had in the last year on the podcast and the deer hunting and the shots. Like we wanted to remind the audience that we are human, we are average Joes,
and it is good.
Fat fireman sitting in a basement with bad teeth.
Yep, it is good to reminisce on this because we learn a lot from these shots. We learn a lot just talking about them again because mistakes in the future can be prevented.
One thing, we have moved on from rage. We're shooting schwackers now.
Schwackers mostly.
But yeah, it was. Those are the 5 shots plus a couple honorable mentions that we wish we had back. Did you have another one you were going to bring up?
No, I think that's about it.
Last year's shot, maybe.
Yeah, we've talked about that ad nauseum. I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
At least you have the antlers in the house.
Yep. But I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. Let everyone let us know what you think about that.
Yeah. If you leave some comments, we'll obviously get to them. We might not do the whole comment read thing like that every time, but there are some times when it's
leave us comments, especially on YouTube, especially on listening platforms, whatever.
Upcoming podcasts we like to talk about. I'm going to get Kasich on, Mr. Automatic, to talk about his bucks sometime. I do think we're going to have an interesting next week. I think we're going to have Spencer White and his wife Shannon on the podcast. Buddies of ours. They've had deer in the shop.
Husband-wife
combo. Spencer kills deer all the time. Shannon kills deer all the time. She's one of the local women that actually goes out and bow hunts and kills deer. So it'd be cool to have them on together. Their banter. They sent us a message the other day while they were watching one of our podcasts. Like, I want to get on that thing. And I said, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to finally get the Pavlik boys on. We've been talking about that a lot too. I think the next morning, if Ethan or you are available to help me, I think I'm going to just make sure we get over to Tim Pavlik's and get that podcast recorded. The boys have been wanting to be on since the beginning, and we just haven't been able to line up all the stuff that's required of us to film a podcast with them. But it's about time we get that one done. We're going to West Virginia on an archery trip in 2 weeks. We're going to record a podcast for all intents and purposes. I'll probably get a podcast recorded down there. We're going to be in the cabin, me, Chris, Big Chris, possibly Ethan, Kevin. There's going to be a lot of us down there. So we're going to get that podcast recorded, hopefully. So we got a lot of stuff coming. And then obviously if there's deer killed, we're going to get some of that going too.
Oh, yeah.
So
We'll keep updated on our season here.
Yeah.
Things should get exciting shortly.
if you're listening on Monday, that means the podcast will be on YouTube at 4 p.m. The audio's up at 5:15 a.m. And the Deer Camp Chronicles episode 4 is live on Sunday morning. So check out the Deer
check
Camp
that out.
Chronicles Sunday morning. It's got a bunch of good hunts from Luke that we talked about last week. I apologize to the audience. Anyone that was, for some reason, I wanted to try something new last week. So I released the YouTube podcast on Monday morning, 9 a.m. And
Bad idea.
Bad idea. For whatever reason, it didn't get the normal traction that all the podcasts prior that I've been releasing at 3 or 4 p.m. have been getting. So we're going to go back to a 3 or 4 p.m. YouTube release on the podcast. The audio will always be Monday morning, 5:15. So
Perfect.
new intro. Watch the intro on YouTube.
Deer Shot Podcast episode
115.
115. Thanks for listening, and we are out.
Out.